हेलो बच्चों, कैसे हैं आप? आई एम श्रद्धा, एजुकेटर फ्रॉम स्टडी विद श्रद्धा। हम कर रहे हैं क्लास 6 जेम्स इंग्लिश रीडर की पोएम डांसिंग इन माय हेड। दिस पोएम हैज बीन रिटन बाय माटिल्डा एम। So about the poet Matilda M and also mind map of this poem and summary of this poem along with detailed explanation stanza wise we have already covered in the previous video. उसका link आपको description box पे मिल जाएगा. In today's video we are going to do question answers of this chapter. We will first be covering the book exercises और book exercises के बाद हम क्या करेंगे extra questions. So सारे stanzas के reference to context आपको इस वीडियो में मिल जाएंगे. So let's start with the book exercises of this poem. Book exercises start करने से पहले काम करते हैं, quick recap कर लेते हैं. हमने क्या पढ़ा था? This poem is about a young student. So class में teacher आती है, teacher class के सब students को बोलती है एक story लिखने को. Now this child is very nervous. Class के सब बच्चे तो फटाफट story लिख रहे हैं, but this child is not able to write the story. ठीक है? ऐसा नहीं है उसके दिमाग में कोई story नहीं है. The child has a story full of mystery, full of magic, which is very impressive in her mind, but she is not able to express it in words. उसको समझ नहीं आ रहा वो लिखे कहाँ से, स्टोरी स्टार्ट कहाँ से करे. अब जब चाइल्ड ने स्टोरी नहीं लिखी, क्या टीचर ने उसको डांटा? नहीं, टीचर ने उस चाइल्ड को नहीं डांटा, बल्कि उस चाइल्ड को मोटिवेट किया, एनकरेज किया और उसको बोला कि कई बार हमारे थॉट्स इतने बड़े होते हैं ना, वो एक छोटे से पेपर में फिट नहीं हो सकते. तो एक काम करते हैं, लेट्स ब्रिंग अ लार्ज शीट ऑफ पेपर. सो टीचर चाइल्ड को लार्ज शीट ऑफ पेपर एंड पेंसिल देती है एंड देन द चाइल्ड स्टार्ट्स राइटिंग द स्टोरी व्हिच वाज डांसिंग इन हर हेड. So this is the gist of the whole poem. ठीक है, फटाफट क्वेश्चन आंसर्स करते हैं. क्वेश्चन नंबर ए है, पिक द करेक्ट ऑप्शंस. फर्स्ट है, द चाइल्ड वाज डैश दैट द टीचर वुड नॉट लाइक हर हिज स्टोरी. मोर और लेस श्योर, अफ्रेड या श्योर. पोएम देखते हैं. I was asked to write a story and was really quite afraid. So afraid is the answer. ठीक है? The child was afraid that the teacher would not like her story. Next question है, the story that the child thought of had humor and magic, fantasy and adventure, mystery and magic. ये थर्ड स्टैंजा में mentioned है, I thought of quite a story, impressive beyond compare, filled with mystery and magic. The story that the child thought of had mystery and magic. B part करते हैं, answer these questions. First question है, what was the child doing while his friends were busy writing? The child was sitting quietly and thinking while her friends were busy writing. Next है, how did the teacher respond when the child's face turned out to be blank? Was it an appropriate reaction? क्या टीचर ने डांटा जब चाइल्ड ने स्टोरी नहीं लिखी? नहीं, टीचर ने नहीं डांटा. द टीचर डिड नॉट frown or scold when the child's page was blank. Instead, she smiled and told the child that sometimes our thoughts and imagination are too big to fit on a small sheet of paper. They fetched a large sheet of paper and a pencil so that the child had enough space to freely write the story. Yes, it was an appropriate reaction because it encouraged the child to express her thoughts. So इसमें ना क्वेश्चंस में his and her करके गिवन है, इसलिए मैंने आंसर्स में भी his her लिखा है. अब क्वेश्चन में अगर her आएगा ना तो आप her करके ही आंसर करना. ठीक है, ये पोएम में नहीं मेंशन्ड है that the child is boy or girl. एक इमेज बनी हुई है जिसमें एक गर्ल है, बट पोएम में as such मेंशन नहीं है कि बॉय है या गर्ल है. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट करते हैं क्वेश्चन नंबर 3. व्हाट डू यू थिंक द फ्रेज डांसिंग इन माई हेड इन द लास्ट स्टैंजा मीन्स? The phrase dancing in my head means that there was a story in the child's mind, but it was not fully developed. It was a thought that was yet to be fully formed. Next, I think and answer. Do you think the teacher was encouraging the child to write a story? How do you know this? Yes, the teacher was encouraging the child to write a story as she did not frown or scold when the child's page was blank. So आप जब answers देखोगे ना, ये answers जितना हो सके मैं similar रखती हूँ. I try to use the same sentences as much as possible. मैं बहुत ज़्यादा language variations answers में नहीं देती हूँ. So when you read these answers 3-4 times ना, वही लाइन आप 4-5 बार पढ़ोगे, आपके दिमाग में सेट हो जाएगा. नहीं तो आंसर्स भी ना they'll dance in your head. With this book exercises खत्म होती है, जल्दी से एक्स्ट्रा क्वेश्चंस कर लेते हैं. एक्स्ट्रा क्वेश्चंस में मैंने सारे स्टैंजास कवर कर लिए हैं. मैंने सीक्वेंस में एक स्टैंजा लिया है और उस स्टैंजा पे क्वेश्चंस क्रिएट किए हैं. ठीक है, जल्दी से करते हैं. फर्स्ट स्टैंजा है, I was asked to write a story and was really quite afraid that my teacher wouldn't like it, that I wouldn't make the grade. First question है, who asked the speaker to write a story? Very simple. The teacher asked the speaker to write a story. Next question, why was the speaker afraid to write it? It matlab a story. Because she thought that the teacher would not like her story and that she wouldn't get a good grade. Question number 3. What does the phrase won't make the grade mean? Very easy. It means that the speaker was afraid that she would not be able to write a good story and get a good grade. अच्छी story नहीं लिखी तो अच्छे number नहीं मिलेंगे. Simple. Next stanza करते हैं. My friends were busy writing, filling pages with blue ink, while I sat down quietly and stopped myself to think. फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन नेम द पोएम एंड द पोएट ये तो आता ही आता है जब भी कोई रेफरेंस आएगा कोई एक्सट्रैक्ट आएगा पोएम से ये क्वेश्चन तो आना ही आना है ना द नेम ऑफ द पोएम इज डांसिंग इन माई हेड एंड द पोएट इज माटिल्डा एम Next question. What were the speaker's friends doing? The speaker's friends were writing their stories and were filling the pages with blue ink. और टेंशन हो जाती है ना आप तो नहीं लिख पा रहे हो और पूरी क्लास बाकी लिख रही है एग्जैक्टली चाइल्ड के साथ भी यही हो रहा है द चाइल्ड इज नॉट एबल टू राइट द स्टोरी बट आसपास जितने भी बच्चे हैं फटाफट फटाफट अपने पेजेस ब्लू इंक से भरे जा रहे हैं क्वेश्चन नंबर 3 What was the speaker doing while others were writing? The speaker was sitting quietly and thinking while her friends were busy writing. ये last two lines of this stanza. While I sat down quietly and stopped myself to think. ठीक है? Next stanza करते हैं. I thought up quite a story, impressive beyond compare, filled with mystery and magic, yet the page remained all bare. अगर आप ये थोड़े बहुत वर्ड्स तो गिवन होते हैं ना अगर ये यूज करो तो आपके आंसर की क्वालिटी इंप्रूव हो जाती है अब स्टोरी कैसी थी देखो इम्प्रेसिव वर्ड यूज किया गया है मिस्ट्री एंड मैजिक लिखा हुआ है so when you use these words in your answers it automatically gives you an edge over the others first question क्या है what kind of story did the speaker imagine the speaker imagined a very impressive story filled with mystery and magic. Next question, what does the page remained all bare mean? It means that the speaker didn't write anything on the page even though she had a story in mind. आप चाहो तो आप पेज पे full stop लगा सकते हो. The page remained all bare means that the speaker didn't write anything on the page. Next stanza करते हैं. We found a massive sheet of paper and a pencil full of lead. Then I set myself to write the story dancing in my head. This is the last stanza of the poem. Question number 1. What did the teacher do to help the speaker? Answer क्या है? The teacher gave the speaker a big sheet of paper and a pencil to write her story. Next question. What does dancing in my head mean here? ये book exercises में भी है ना last question. What does the phrase dancing in my head mean in the last stanza? तो वही आंसर है कॉपी किया है that this phrase means that there was a story in the child's mind but it was not fully developed. इसका मतलब है चाइल्ड के माइंड में स्टोरी तो थी but it was not fully developed कि स्टार्टिंग ये था एंड था randomly घूम रही थी चाइल्ड के माइंड में स्टोरी ठीक है It was a thought that was yet to be fully formed. And this finishes with the question answers of this poem dancing in my head. I hope आपको अच्छे से समझ में आ गई है ये poem. If you have any doubt, any query, please post in the comments and I'll revert at the earliest. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more updates.